Howling Coyote Press presents The Stealing by Sharon Sutila, performed by Gerald Kumpf. 1971. The 5-year-old girl took one look at the hairbrush and ran. Kick-bang! The flimsy metal door sprang open, stamping a new groove in the sheathing of the single-wide trailer. The girl's momentum launched her over 4 cinder-block steps. She pedaled an invisible bicycle through the air, wobbled when she hit the ground, but remembered to balance this time. Victory achieved in the battle of the hairbrush, the escapee kept running. The fresh scabs from her last attempt to flee were long forgotten, and she sprinted onto the paved street without looking in either direction. The thought of freedom from her mother's merciless brushstrokes injected power into her pale, thin legs. Wearing her triumphant crown of matted auburn hair, she found the center of the road with her feet and aimed for the rise to the sandy beach. A few neighbors, quenching their thirst under shade trees, witnessed the girl explode from her home. They held their breath, waiting for her mother to give chase, but she did not. Today the girl had an accomplice for her getaway, a new pair of white cotton tennis shoes. Her old pair with the flapping open toe, effective only in scooping gravel, had thwarted all previous attempts to run. Her stride now was long and quick. This time, she promised herself, she would make it all the way to the waves on Killington Beach. After passing a few houses, the girl looked back once. The door to the trailer, now closed, blocked a return to the refrigerator. She stopped for a moment. Her belly groaned, urging her to march back home and endure the inevitable punishment in exchange for food. But no, she celebrated her freedom instead and continued up the hill, skipping at a bright pace. The bingo song came to mind, and the urge to sing was too strong to shake. She sang B-I-N-G-O 3 times, paused to fill her lungs, and yelled, "Bingo was his name-o!" A green-eyed German shepherd, lying in the shade of an oak tree, surveilled the freckled little girl with the faded denim shorts and the polka-dot tank top. The girl, caught up in the sound of her own voice, didn't notice the dog until it was too late. The 80-pound beast lunged with its fangs bared. The girl screamed, but the dog ran out of rusty metal chain and flipped itself in reverse. The girl pointed a motherly finger at it and yelled, "Bad dog!" The battle of the dog won, she continued her journey as the dog retreated to its confinement in the cool dirt under the tree. When the girl reached the top of the knoll, she was met by powerful wind gusts and struggled to stay on her feet. She clung to a roadside sign and imagined being blown into the sky above the clouds. No beach today. Losing the battle of the wind, temporarily, she vowed to return some day soon. The path back to her trailer dungeon was not an option. The evil hairbrush and wooden spoon awaited, ready to pounce. The bluish-green bruises on her thighs still hurt. Days earlier she had refused to drink milk and had earned the colorful badge. The milk she hated taunted her thirst. She touched her lips, angry at herself for having such human weakness. If only I could live without food and water, I would never go back there, she thought. No, she was not going home. That was final. Between the sand dunes of the beach and the edge of the woods to the west, she spotted 3 young children, 2 girls and a boy, playing a game of hide-and-seek. The children, including the girl who watched them, were blissfully unaware of the dangers bordering their field of play. The Delaware Bay on one side routinely claimed the lives of swimmers with its strong current. The creatures of the forest on the other side were as thirsty and hungry as the bay. Venomous snakes, fanged predators, and birds of prey readied themselves in anticipation. The oblivious children should have been warned off by the swords of twisted, crooked branches crafted by coastal storms, but they did not heed them. Hidden under the shade of the wind-battered trees was a carpet of marshland mud strong enough to grip and hold fast the children's small feet. The creatures of the forest loved the games children play. The raucous children bowed together under the soldier's arm of a tree, and then ran to hide, ready to be lost and found. The little girl, who would not return home, tiptoed to the edge of the woods in search of the children. Moving a branch to peek into the forest, she winced at the stench of skunk. She listened, but there was no sign of the children. Instead of following the trail, she decided to sneak into the woods through the brush. Unaware of where her feet were planted, the girl stood on a sacred rock at the mouth of an ancient passage through the woods, now overgrown. Beneath her new tennis shoes, an opalized keystone covered in grime depicted a carved petroglyph of the cosmos. 2 concentric circles enclosed by a diamond shape split horizontally into 2 triangles. The girl balanced on the rock. It marked an unseen boundary. She steadied her hand on a moss-covered wooden pillar, revealing an engraved triangular-headed snake. The little girl ignored the small, yet significant carved snake warning. A primordial being protects the earth. When last this being visited the land long ago, he witnessed no earthly threat by the land-dwellers and grew bored. He set the rock tripwire in the forest and departed. The girl's trespass now summoned his return. Only a child, but still an inspection was overdue. She stood alone on the line between life and afterlife, and she was named Orphan. The orphan, a curious spirit, was deemed suitable. Her life was chosen as a means to observe and take measure of the latest earthly inhabitants. Earth's guardian hid in shadows and followed her as she wandered through the woods. Thank you for listening. The complete audiobook of The Stealing will be published in 2024. If you can't wait to find out what happens to the orphan, The Stealing is currently available in print and digital formats. Scan a QR code or click a link in the description.